Okay, I was seriously thinking about doing this for the review and get this all blue and being a true Navi, but it'll be too much and I'll be cleaning this off for the rest of the holidays. So let's talk about Avatar: The Way of Water. What up, guys, and happy holidays. Bobo here with BrassReel Movie Reviews. Thanks for coming back for some more popcorn. Real quick, guys, if you haven't done so already, why don't you hit that subscribe button and the like button. Sorry it's been a few weeks since I've actually put out one of these reviews. Anshul and I have just been reorganizing the channel, doing the podcast weekly. Also, I've been having to work. It's Christmas time. So the Avatar 2 review is a little late, but hey, better late than never. And that movie's still prevalent. In fact, I think it's already made something like 600 million worldwide, which is crazy. All right, so look, everybody knows about the first Avatar. It did like astronomical numbers at the box office. It was groundbreaking in filmmaking as far as tactics they used, the technology they used, literally was invented for the film. So with like 13, 14 years later after that first movie, we finally get the sequel. And everybody was wondering, is it gonna be all that great? Is it gonna live up? And I gotta say, I thought it lived up tremendously. I loved it. And it topped what the first one achieved technologically and emotionally, storytelling-wise, and just cinematically. You're not gonna hear me say much bad about this movie. It was a visual masterpiece, the score was awesome, the story was way better than the first one, and I liked the first one. And there were some surprises that were in there that I truly wasn't expecting. First off, go see this in 3D in the theater. Don't wait till it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD or watch it on Disney+, because you're just not gonna get the experience you were intended to get by going to see this thing in 3D. On top of the fact that it was filmed in like 48 frames per second, over half the movie was filmed that way. Mostly in just action scenes and the underwater stuff, but man, it dazzles the eye. I mean, it's almost so much for your brain to take in at once because, look, you're seeing that stuff on computer screens, playing computer games, playing video games. But to see something like that on the big screen that was just beautifully stunning and just dazzling, like I said, I've never seen it before. I've never seen something look that good on the big screen. So you gotta go see this in the theater. But it's not just a visual-based movie. They upped the story, they definitely upped the action, and they added characters as well. So it just has much more of a rich vibe to it than the first one did. And again, I love the first one. And you do get some of the like human characters floating over into this movie as well, like Giovanna Ribisi, Joel David Moore. Sigourney Weaver has like a little flashback of her character from the first one. However, she plays her daughter in this. So hard to explain, but you just have to see it. Really well done. And look, in the first movie, you were really amazed at this motion cap stuff that they were able to accomplish, but there was the occasional moment where you could see the flaw in some of their mouths moving, or you could see that CG element here. I can still tell that CG. Not in this one. In my opinion, this movie the entire time, I was sometimes having to remember that this wasn't people in blue makeup. But it still has all the other characters like Sam Worthington's character, Zoe Saldana's character, which I can never remember her name. I'm not gonna pretend to remember anybody's names in these movies, because it's just too hard, sorry. But now Sam Worthington's character and Zoe Saldana's character have this family, which is beautiful.
That's right. Jake and Terry have been getting busy.
And you get to explore this whole other territory and whole other tribe of Pandora, which, you know, obviously by the title, it's the Way of Water, so they're sea people. But the introduction to their culture is just as fascinating as it was getting the introduction to the Na'vi in the first film. And it does have a different tone to it while still feeling connected. But it's new sights, new creatures, and like I said, the new people, the reef people. But there's also still that human element. And I'm not giving anything away. You've seen that in the trailers. But the sky people are always going to be a threat to them, I guess. Which Anshul and I were kind of talking about. If they keep doing that and don't switch to a different type of villain, they might run out of steam quicker than they want. But I bet you they got some good plans. Which, by the way, let's see what Anshul has to say about this movie.
What up, Bobo? Thanks for tossing it over. Avatar 2: Way of Water, a film that took 12 years and $400 million to make. Was it worth the wait? Yes, with a caveat. Yes, it is worth the wait if you go see it in theaters and you go see it in 3D. It's amazing to think that 3D technology has been around forever, but much like the first time you watched Avatar, James Cameron makes you feel like you're seeing 3D for the first time. He makes you think you popped your 3D cherry not once, but twice. Don't you wish That could be the same for other things in life. The heart of this film, like the first one, is a message about the environment. Now listen, probably gonna win some awards, so I'm just saying, get ready for some Oscar speeches about global warming. The story is much better this time around. Listen, it's still not original, okay? It still borrows just like the first Avatar borrowed from Fern Gully. This one even borrows from the freaking Bible. Yeah, you heard me, borrows from the Bible. You get female Jesus and shades of Cain and Abel. But let's not get it twisted. None of you came for the plot. You didn't watch the first movie for the plot. You don't care about the plot in this movie. You're here for the visual porn, and you get plenty of it. 3+ hours of stunning visuals will have you bleeding out your eyeballs and maybe peeing your pants if you don't take it easy on the soda. The end of the film sets up nicely for some sequels. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with these sequels. I have my theories.
All the elements you love from the first movie are still in this movie, and some of them may accelerate. The dragons are still in there. There's still the element of danger from just the wildlife on Pandora, but a lot of it's underwater now, and just the scenes underwater are breathtaking. I mean, look, Black Panther did it good. I'm not going to take away from that, but once you see it in this movie, it's like, damn, this is awesome, because they did film a ton of it underwater. There's also this human kid in there you got to see the story of why there's a human on Pandora. At first I was thinking, great, we got to introduce this little human kid in here now, but actually, I really enjoyed that character, and he was a really good part of the story. And while the last movie was about Sam Worthington's character, Jake Sully, sort of understanding himself and who he really was at his core, and which makes him become a Na'vi permanently, there's that discovery thing about himself in that one. In this one, it's very much about living out that purpose you very are aware and clear that you have. And he's got this family now, and there's a beautiful father-son element to the movie that gets you emotional. But I gotta tell you what, a lot of the movie gets you emotional. There's this moment with all these whales, and again, I can't remember what they call them in the movie, but they're basically whales. Man, some of those scenes, extremely emotional. I caught myself genuinely crying. And you don't have to see the first one to enjoy this one, but seeing the first one will make this way more meaningful just because of some of the callback lines that they do that aren't just cheesy, they're meaningful. Like the line in the first one, I see you. And then the third act is amazing and just fantastic, but there's a badass line from Sam Worthington where he just says, then let's get it done. Oh man, I got the chills. And on top of all of that, the visual stunning masterpiece, the advancement in storytelling, the advancement in emotional gravity that it had, it also has something to say about the world we live in. So it truly is a work of art, and I think James Cameron upped the game with this one fully. I'm very satisfied. That's why Avatar: The Way of Water is really fresh.
If you see this movie in 3D as intended, you will agree with my 3D rating of 8.4, making it real fresh. Theater quality version of this movie, a 7.4 for the 2D version. Real decent.
Well, that'll do it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button so you can help us make it to the top. And as always, if life gives you lemons, make some hot, fresh popcorns. Let's get it done.